I just want to give you a little bit of statistics. We've now found about 700 acres of old growth or ancient forest in Zoar Valley here. The majority of it is in the state lands, which are what's down here, and part of it is on the private lands. It's focused on the canyon area, the top of the canyon, down the slopes, and inside the canyon. None of it is protected. None of it's protected. In other words, if the state wants to go in and log it, nothing's stopping them if they insist upon it. On the private lands, there's absolutely no protection. I'm mentioning that because on the private lands, it's still being cut down. When you cut down an old growth forest, this is virgin old growth, it's gone forever. It takes about 1,000 years to get it back, guaranteeing that it's going to return. Old growth forests in western New York are about 1/10%, slightly more, about 2/10% of the land. So it's a very tiny percentage. A large portion of it is located here. It's valuable in many, many ways. I almost forgot I have a handout. Can I help me on this out? I got 100, probably just about enough for everybody. And this is one sheet. Yeah, wait, you can hand this one out. Oh, that yellow one. Great. There's two sheets, and one of them tells you how to identify an old-growth forest. Take it down with you, because you'll actually be seeing all the things on that sheet. They're visual things. You don't have to be an expert. And the other one tells you the definition of old growth and also what's important about them. So I won't have to say much. One of the things two things that are important about them that I love. One of them is they're inspirational. They're called green cathedrals for a reason, and you're going to be in a green cathedral. They're inspiring because they have vaulted ceilings, green cathedral ceilings, like a human cathedral. And there's one famous poet who said that ancient groves were God's first temples. When you're in this forest, I want you to recognize that while I'm going to be showing you monster trees, they're not going to be redwoods. We don't have redwoods here. You don't expect to be seeing trees that are 40 feet in diameter. But these hardwood trees, meaning trees like maples and oaks, that kind of thing, are bigger than anything you get out in the West Coast. Pines and redwoods and things like that get bigger than oaks and maples. Okay? But oaks and maples that we have are bigger than out in the Pacific Coast. So what we got down here are bigger. So we really have something terrific here. You're going to be seeing all kinds of incredible champion trees. Now, but when you're in the forest, you first walk in, you're going to say, looks like a beautiful forest. They're not that big. It's a mature forest. Because many of the trees are not that big. You can see trees like this. Is that big? No. You see, the reason why this is the Category of Giants is because while some of the trees are this big, most of them are this big or this big. Okay, wait. There's another kind of big. There's football players and sumo wrestlers, right? There's also basketball player big, right? Okay, I want you to get the vertical dimension. I want you to realize you're going to be going... I challenge you to find the lowest boughs of the trees. Boughs are the first thick, branch coming out, not the little sprouts. In some cases, you're going to be going, the lowest bough will be hard to find. Some of them are 90 feet up. Now, this is second growth forest out here. Second growth forest. This is typical, this is mature second growth forest. This is typical of 99.9% of all the forest in all of western New York. You know what the average height of these trees are? The tip-top branches, 75 feet. We have the lowest boughs in there, 75 feet. The lowest boughs, 75 feet. Okay, and here the top branches, twigs, are 75 feet. That's like that's like me, kind of a short guy, standing among one of the professional basketball teams where their belts are here. Okay? Now you get it? Okay, so you're going to be having a hard time finding the lowest boughs. Forget about finding the tops. Forget about that. And you won't have any scale. You'll say, when you're down at the river level, you say, well, they don't look that tall. When you're down there, you're going to see, I got to tell you this because I want you to get the scale. You want to get down there, but I got to tell you this, otherwise you won't understand it. The cliffs you're going to be seeing, you say, oh, they're big cliffs. The cliffs are as tall as Buffalo City Hall. They're 430 feet tall. Okay? Buffalo City Hall is like 450, something like that. Okay? Therefore, when you see the trees reaching, approaching half that height, something slightly less than half that height, they're really big. When you see trees hanging on the cliffs, on little ledges, they look like little trees. They're 120 feet high. They're often twice the height of these. They're not little at all. They're just far up there and far away. So everything there is enormous scales, and you can't get it because if I put a person up there, you'd say they look like ants. Okay? So everything is massive scales down there, and it's just incredible. And I couldn't believe it. I just knew they were giant because I had a hard time finding the lowest boughs. That's what I want you to understand. We have labels on the trees, and we have a large group here. We made sure that we didn't know how many people were going to come. So Tom Diggins and I are going to be having 2 routes that we're going to be taking people. We're all going to go down at once. This is the logistics. We're going to go down at once, and when we get to the, it's about a 25-minute walk to where the 2 creeks meet. Okay, the main branch creek and the south branch creek. So follow me on this logistics. We'll go down in one long line. It's not old growth, except on the very steep slopes to your right will be old growth little trees. They're little because they keep on, when they get big, they keep on falling down. Okay, you'll see some big ones that fell down. When we get down into the fields, it'll be beautiful meadows. There's no old growth. Only when we get to the canyon walls will be old growth up there where nobody was able to log in the old days. So don't be looking for big stuff until I say we're going to be getting wet feet. Okay? Beautiful swimming beach. It's called Skinny Dip Beach because the hippies in the 1960s camped there for the entire mild season for years and years until finally they were routed out by the police in the 1970s. So it's called Skinny Dip Beach because nudism was the thing. Okay? We didn't make up these names. Then everyone's going to cross the South Branch Creek, which is very shallow but slippery. So many of you I told, I said, bring a change of footwear if you don't want to be walking around in squishy feet the whole time, squishy shoes. I'm going to sit down, take off these and put on sandals. I don't like walking around in squishy feet. Okay, some of you can just walk across, but if you don't have a walking staff, don't plan on slipping because there's slippery rocks there and the current is a little bit fast. It may only be this deep, but it's slippery and the current will take your feet. So don't assume that it's not slippery. It's very slippery. If you see orangish brown stuff, that's dead algae. The dead algae will put you on your back, okay? So go real slow, real careful, and if you have a stick, you're going to be safer than if you don't, okay? Go real slow, and if you follow my route,